everyone. So I kind of dropped the ball on this week's Meals in the Making, which is awful because this is my 1,500 subscribers special, which, by the way, we're almost to 2,000. You guys are amazing. But, so I didn't do an intro. Why I didn't do an intro? I have no idea. So here is your intro. Today you will see Robbie and I make inside outside egg roll from Sandy's Kitchen Adventures website. She is amazing. I will link her website down below because she's just fabulous, and I get a lot of the recipes that I don't make myself or come up with myself from her. You will also see us make Cajun shrimp kebabs, and we've already had both of these, and both recipes are definitely to die for. You've got to try them. So I will put the recipes below. Also, I really don't know what was wrong with me on Sunday, you guys, when I was doing this. I was making the shrimp kebab marinade and didn't tell you, like, oh, here's a teaspoon of this, here's a teaspoon of this. So you'll hear me voice over that part. So sorry, this is kind of weird and wonky. Also, don't forget about the live Q&A this Sunday, August 12th at 7 p.m. Central. Please put your questions down below in the comments or jump on live. Also, one thing I forgot to mention was this is a Q&A just about, like, anything. It doesn't have to be OPTAVIA, although a lot of the questions will be OPTAVIA. And the really funny part is we got a question for Robbie and he got really excited. So if you have questions for Robbie too, he's actually going to be there and on the live Q&A, and he would love to answer those. So I only have a couple right now. I only have about 5 or 6, so definitely put your questions down in the comments. Like I said, for me or Robbie or the both of us or the dogs, who knows. And we would love to answer those for you. Of course, we would love for you to jump on live as well. We just love that y'all are here. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video. For the Cajun shrimp kebabs, you will need 14 ounces of large peeled and deveined cooked shrimp, half a cup of zucchini sliced, half a cup of summer squash sliced, 1 cup of bell peppers sliced, any color will do, 2 teaspoons of extra virgin olive oil, 1 teaspoon of minced garlic, 1 teaspoon of onion powder, half a teaspoon of cayenne pepper, half a teaspoon of paprika, and 2 teaspoons of lemon juice. So I'm doing things a little differently today. For the shrimp kebabs, we are not actually having them for dinner tonight. Today is Sunday. We'll probably end up having them tomorrow, but I don't want to cook them and then for them to lose their juiciness. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and marinate them. So all we have to do is throw them on the grill tomorrow, or throw them in the oven if we decide to do it that way. So I'm going to go ahead and slice up all my veggies either tomorrow or whatever day we decide to eat them, and quickly throw them on a skewer. But I'm going to go ahead and start marinating my shrimp right now, and this is so incredibly simple. I'm going to throw all of my shrimp in here. You'll see that these still have the tails on them. That's not that big of a deal since I'm not throwing it in a recipe. I'll be taking them off a skewer and eating them individually. Okay, so I'm gonna try and voice over this part. At this part, I'm going to go ahead and add my 2 teaspoons of extra virgin olive oil to my marinade. And I'm also adding 2 teaspoons of lemon juice to this bag as well. So here I'm actually adding 1 teaspoon or 2 cloves of minced garlic, and then I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of onion powder, half a teaspoon of cayenne pepper, and half a teaspoon of paprika. The last thing I'm going to do is go ahead and seal up this bag and shake it up to make sure that all of my spices and my extra virgin olive oil and lemon juice have combined, and then I will throw this in the refrigerator until it's time to grill them on the grill. You can also do these in the oven. If you will set your oven to 400 degrees, you can put your veggies in there for 35 to 40 minutes, just stirring every 10 minutes or so, and then throw your shrimp in there with about 8 to 10 minutes to spare, because they really don't take long to just pink up because they're already cooked. Hey everyone, so it is Monday and we are gonna have our Cajun shrimp kebabs for dinner tonight. So I have just finished cutting up all our vegetables, but I wanted to show you how I'm gonna like stab them. And Robbie's getting the grill set up and ready to go. So Robbie's now gonna take these out and put them on the grill. We'll each get 1.5 of these skewers with our dinner. He says it's probably gonna take about 10 to 15 minutes. So he thinks. While he's taking these and getting them started, because they'll cook a little longer than my shrimp will, I'm gonna start skewing our shrimp. Is that the right word term? Skewing? I'm gonna start stabbing our shrimp. And here are our skewered shrimp. Robbie's gonna go and put these on in just a second, and then we should be good. These are actually already cooked, but Robbie just wants to get some lines on them, he said, and they need to be warmed up, obviously. But he was kind of surprised when I said that they were already cooked. Here is our finished product. I'll be honest with you, I came up with this recipe by myself and I left my notebook with my notes at work. So the serving size and measurements will all be in the description. I know that it is 1 lean and 3 green. I just don't know what the condiments are. So be looking out for that in the description, and I'll try and put a little bit of like a, something that goes across the screen that says it. But it smells and looks delicious. I cannot wait to try it.
That's good, I already tried a piece.
For Sandy's Kitchen Adventures inside outside egg rolls, you will need 1 cup of shredded cabbage, or you can use tricolor coleslaw mix, 1/4 cup of chopped celery, 1/4 cup of chopped scallions, 6.5 ounces of raw 93% lean ground beef. I had 96%. Still gonna use the exact same measurements, it's just gonna be a little leaner. Use what you got as long as it's 93%. 1/4 cup of egg beaters, 1/8 teaspoon of ground ginger, 1/8 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1/8 teaspoon of Chinese 5-spice blend. This was the first time I actually got to get this, so thank you, Sandy. And 1 tablespoon of light soy sauce. Mine is low sodium. For Sandy's Kitchen Adventures inside outside egg rolls, we're going to start by browning up. I am browning up an entire pound of this ground beef because Robbie can use it throughout the week for other things, but I'll only pull out what's needed for the recipe in just a second. So I'm gonna let that brown up. But while it's doing that, I'm gonna go ahead and combine my shredded cabbage, celery, and scallions and toss them together. So I am doubling Sandy's recipe because I'm gonna make this for Robbie and I. He actually really wanted this recipe. So although the recipe calls for 1 cup, I'm gonna use 2 cups and so on and so forth. The ingredients that I gave you earlier and the measurements for those, that was for 1 serving. So just keep that in mind. Okay. So I've got our ground beef here. I'm gonna go ahead and throw in all of our vegetables so far and just kind of mix that together. Now I'm gonna add in my spices. So my 1/8 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1/8 teaspoon of ground ginger, and 1/8 teaspoon of Chinese 5-spice. Smells like Christmas time.
Yeah, it's got nutmeg or something like that.
I'm gonna give that a good stir, then I'm gonna throw it back on the burner. And I'm gonna add in my egg beaters and my soy sauce and just let that kind of cook down a little bit. I forgot that I'm doubling this recipe, so instead of 1/8 teaspoon of all of that, I'm gonna add in another 1/8 teaspoon to make 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1/4 teaspoon of ground ginger, and 1/4 teaspoon of the Chinese 5-spice. Sorry. Now I'm gonna add in 1/2 cup of egg beaters and 2 tablespoons of light soy sauce, and then I'm gonna let it cook down. 1/2 cup of egg beaters for my doubled recipe. And my 2 tablespoons of low sodium or light soy sauce. I'll provide a link to this recipe down in the description. Okay, so I've let this cook down some. The vegetables are tender but firm, as Sandy says. And the egg is not really visible anymore, so that's great. So this recipe serves 2, because like I said, I've doubled it, but all of the ingredients that I put out at the beginning are gonna be the measurements for 1 serving. And 1 serving equals 1 lean, 3 green, and 1.75 condiments. So you still have some stuff left over to use for the day, which is great.